Yeah, no. So I'm going live a second time today, two times in a one single day. Ooh, this thing is awful bright. I've got to turn down. I always say that every time I put it on here, but it's like, okay, you know who I am. I'm Suzanne Tinkemeyer. I wrote for No Longer Quivering for, I like that better, for almost 10 years with Pathos. I was a co-worker of Catherine Paulson. And now I'm find myself doing videos about the craziest things. I had actually been watching videos and writing notes to do a video tomorrow on the new IFB and Steven Anderson. Hey, that Amber chick, but I found myself watching watching AZ this afternoon, watching Spiracy. And hey Liz, and she had Julie Gagnon on. And she asked her some questions. I was really glad to hear it because she didn't let her skate. She answered. Az asked Julie a lot of questions. It's the after show. You are exactly right. It is the after show because Julianne, because I have questions now. I have questions. I was watching that. I came up with some answers I didn't really want. I was busy looking at the Steven Anderson stuff when I wasn't reading a book or crocheting because this is one of those nights that I don't like. It's a Thursday night. So Thursday night during football season is a pain in the butt here because he screams and rants out there. So I hide. Step in the middle with you. I know that was all I could think of. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with her. I almost feel like I should have done a reaction video. If I had decent software, I would have. I would have posted little clips from AZ's, and when she said something, I ought to be going, because I found myself doing that. Amber, I agree. She is freaking nuts. Um, I, uh, I didn't realize that at first. I just thought her story was very suspicious. And like I said, if you don't have receipts at all, I tend not to believe you. She addressed that. She said, well, I have no receipts because everybody would think they're faked because you can fake screenshots. Most of us don't fake screenshots, and most of us don't think screenshots are faked. Is that even a thing? Do people do that? Most of us don't. I don't have that kind of time. I'm lucky if I can every now, not a screen cap, a beam every now and then. Oh, thank you, Sarah, for my yarn fund. I have to buy more for this, and I'm discovering that I'm going to have to order it a certain different way. So that will help. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Rose. Hey, everybody. I am just, after seeing her talking. I actually wrote down points that I was listening to her say these things. I was like, wait a minute. That's not at all how any of this works. She says she told Roadhog not to mention what her husband did for a living, but without any prompting from him, out and named the nuclear facility where he works. She named it. Nobody had to twist her arm to get that information. Sadly, I think some people are in trouble now. I don't see how he could be in trouble over that. I'm going to address that in a bit too. But he didn't have to do anything to get it out of there. She said that Sue Elliott is a nice, wonderful person that I've met through the whole KJ truther community. She said that Sue should not have been any part of it, yet she drug her into it anyway. And then she tried to tell AZ that Sue had been trying to get her new social media media. I kept asking for her to apologize to AZ, Rennell, Sue. She made no effort to straighten out anything out. Lisa, no, she didn't. I don't know if they called his work to verify he worked there or not. I don't know, but she's making some pretty big claims about that. She said he works for a government job. so that he's been called aside and he's in big trouble over this. Let's talk about that for a minute. If he worked for a government job that was like working in a nuclear facility, he would have a top secret security clearance. And that's something I know Gus has one. My son, every so many years, Secret Service or FBI or whoever does it, and I've seen both agencies be involved in updating these clearances. They might call your husband on you doing crazy stuff online, maybe on your security clearance, but it only when they're doing an update, and it's not, they're not going to look at anything you're doing unless you're doing something criminal or really bad. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. No one is watching Rhodes Hogg's channel or and reporting to jobs. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. She's saying all that about that. All I can say is what I know about those type of jobs, and from having had family members that have worked government jobs with top secret security clearances, that's not at all how it works. You know, if they call the nuclear facility and say, "Hey, I need to talk to Mr. Gagney," or "I need to talk to you," they would probably laugh and hang up. I don't believe that they are reaching around. I think that he's doubling down on Julie because he wants it to be bad so badly. He wants to take down Todd and by extension Katie Joy any way he can. This is not the way. Attack the behavior. Do not try to make out that they're just have to. We just have to not do that. Heidi, I don't blame you. I've been back from the States less than well, right around 2 weeks, maybe a little over. And I feel kind of the same way. I come back to this crap. She seems to have a lot of sad luck stories: cancer treatments, MS, husband's job, nurse for ICU. It just never ends. Lisa, I noticed that too. I noticed that she had all of this stuff. And that's one of the next big point that was making me crazy. She's blaming cancer treatments, MS, a stroke, and the largest laundry list of medical problems I've seen since illness fakers on Reddit. In case you don't know, there is a community on Reddit that follows chronic malingerers and Munchausen's people. And her stories sound like they're straight off of illness fakers. Now, I'm not saying that I know she's a malingerer or she has Munchausen's. I'm just saying that all of her stories, A, sound suspicious, and B, it's possible to have chronic illnesses and not use them to excuse all of your bad behavior. Hey, Marmaduke. Hey, exactly. So I have a lot of stuff going on in my life. I have a lot of, thank you, Ruth. You know, any more yarn for me, I'll be buying it the next time I run the States, which should be December at this rate. So I wanted to rant a little more about that because so many of you all have chronic illnesses. You know, I have chronic illnesses. You know, I had a stroke like 6 months ago, well, 7 months at this point, which was mistakenly diagnosed as MS. I have been on a laundry list of drugs, including the mind bending, altering ones, and never has this stopped me from doing anything. Like all of you that have these chronic illnesses, I get up every day and I do what I got to do. I kick the day's ass, and kicking the day's ass does not mean that I use my stroke as an excuse for anything more than having to use the wheelchair to go through the airport because the airport floors are like skating rinks, and if you have any kind of balance issues, walking on them becomes almost damn near impossible. I think I know is giving you the thumbs down. It is a depressing droll who cures his depression. Tooth number 13. You can visit him and give him a few. I'm not worried about that. I am so not worried about that. Let them thumb down, thumb down. I've seen so many people who are who do that and get off on it. So Marvin Duke, exactly. You got to get up and do these things. She talks about having a daughter in medical school. That's awesome. A son that just got a skydiving license, which kind of puzzles me because you don't really need a skydiving license in most places. You just need to be certified with so many hours. There's so many things that come out of her mouth that I'm just like questioning now. Any engagement is good engagement. I know. She says that all the time, and it just makes me laugh. Are you going to have days where you flub up and you say the wrong thing and you screw up? Well, yeah, I have those days too. I have days where I'm in that bed. But I don't use my illnesses for an excuse for any wrongdoing on my part. Um, when I get to the point where I'm about to do some wrongdoing and call people filthy names or do whatever, I take myself out of the equation. I don't double down and say, oh, well, so and so, so and so. Kiki, that was exactly what I was going to say next. Katie Joy seems to have a cadre of people around her that have issues. Look at the Lorianne controversy. Lorianne gave Mr. Saltz a deposition. As soon as the case was over, she went on and pretty much said the opposite of what she said in her deposition and threw Saltz and a bunch of other people under the bus. These are the people that, hey, Megan, these are the people that she is surrounded by. Now, I know you can't pick your followers. You cannot. And I know the times we're all going to piss off our followers. I made one angry today because I had been talking about truckers being rough people. Granted, I'm going to admit I haven't been around truckers in a long, long, long time, but that's what I remember from the last time I was. And I never said that all truckers are foul-mouthed serial killers. I'm just saying some of them are. That's statistics support that, unfortunately. Now, she said there are great organizations that truckers are part of. I know that to be true too. So it's getting better. But it used to be the job for serial killers. So much so that the FBI actually had a task force for it. Cultivates some behind the scenes friends, trolls. Julianne, that could well be what's going on with those. She seems to have folks that I call flying monkeys. They seem to want to insert themselves into drama, especially Lorianne. Lorianne was just one of many. But I've noticed that before about her. She has these ladies that will only listen to her. You could show them that the sky is blue and the grass is green, that if KJ is saying the grass is red and the sky is purple, that's what they're going to believe, even over real evidence that doesn't support any of that. Flying monkeys, yes. And I can tell when the flying monkeys have been released because they all come with the exact same complaint about me and they spam me with it. And they send me emails with it. And it's actually comical because they will decide the narrative and then spam me with it, which always makes me laugh. She blamed Rogue for calling her interactions with Todd SH. Now, let's take a look at that. If you are a married woman, you're a happily married woman, and a supposedly happily married man is trying to hook up with you in Messenger, I would consider that SH, even if she does not consider that SH. Roadhog was absolutely right about that. Because watching what she says, the issues are obvious. Be the case. Kiki, I'm broken heart from attention from a creator. That could well be the case. Kiki, I'm broken heart over that child. I'm just going to come right out and say that. That is just ridiculous. And I think the number one point, Sue, she lied about all three of them, and she owes all three of them an apology. She tells these long rambling stories. He starts telling these long rambling stories. AZ would ask her a direct question, and she would go off these long rambling things. Now I got to give AZ credit. She cut her off. I would have done that too. AZ, you would make a great investigative journalist, I think. Um, but so much, I couldn't believe she had the nerve to go on Spiracy's channel after what Spiracy was saying. Yes, Lisa, a word salad that leads God knows where. And she said she could not work because she had too many ailments. Now, a lot of us can't work because of that. I can't work anymore. There is no way I can go into a social work office anymore or a residential treatment center or any of that. It's just not happening. But at the same time, I'm not making excuses for that. I'm not screeching that out with everybody I know. It is what it is. I'm retired now. I'm buffering. Am I buffering? This is the Senate. No filibustering allowed. Full of sympathy manipulators. Julianne, I think that like breeds like. You know, it even says in the Bible that like draws like, and to not be unevenly yoked with people who are not believers. And there's a reason for that because of this. And that was my point with Roadhog and the cursing and the trucking in my life. If you hang around with people, you're going to pick up their mannerisms. You're going to pick up their mannerisms. You're just going to. It happens for good, for bad. I try now to keep myself around good people so I pick up their mannerisms instead of, I was around a relative in July that every other word was the F word. Now, I do like the occasional colorful vulgarity, but I don't want to have to say the F word for every other word. So it's a bit much sometimes. Sarah G, hey, we're just talking about that crazy, crazy, crazy interview. Halfway through the live, she started DMing AZ and asked to come on, but she made no attempt to explain, apologize, or clarify. Lisa, all I heard her do was try to justify everything she said and did and just going on these rambling things rather than apologizing. She didn't even do a very good explanation. Oh, thank you, Heidi. Thank you. Thank you. My yarn fun thanks you. So did I miss anything? Because she did blame Roadhog. She blamed Sue. She blamed AZ. She blamed everybody. Oh yes, Sarah. She was on Spiracy's channel today. Spiracy had Roadhog's video with her. She was going by line and saying why she didn't believe her. And suddenly there she was. Suddenly Julie Gagney appeared out of the blue. Lisa, it's a lot. I'm just going to say it is a lot. We have a lot of stuff going on in the community. And here I was thinking I was never going to talk about the Paulsons again. And I'm defending them. I can't believe it. I have been defending KJ and Todd in this because there are no receipts. I mean, even if she had just taken a couple little screen caps that showed that Todd said, what was it, girl, I'm going to F you so good. You're going to speak my name in foreign languages, which I thought was the strangest thing of all time. Blamed her husband and his job. She blamed that too. Oh, she just blamed everybody. And yeah, just raunchy talk. She was trying to justify the raunchy talk. It's like she wasn't offended by it, but there was a lot of raunchy talk. But if you're not offended by it, why are you spreading this all over the internet? Why are you doing this? There's some things that are just TMI, you know? That would be a TMI moment. Now, if he had really harmed her in some way, or she was super duper offended, and I know I can get super duper offended over stupid stuff, she would have done a screen cap. She would have immediately told Katie, and she would have blocked him. She tried to say she didn't block him because he was a moderator. Rose, I had to do it in parts too because it was just too much. Too much. That Ember chick, same here. I don't want to have to to defend Katie. I don't want to defend Todd. They're grown people. And the behavior has been so awful that I don't want to defend them for anything. That's what's so funny about it anymore. Yeah, Heidi, I agree with you. Nobody has boundaries. That's why I was talking about boundaries earlier. Every now and then I have to go back and do the boundary talk. No one has them anymore. And the boundaries are just all over the place. Ooh, and I just heard my husband cussing. He was in the pool. I hope he didn't trump and through here naked. That might be a little bit of an issue. He likes to swim that way, and I'm not that. I don't. Swimsuit or nothing. Okay. She blamed her MS, ADHD, neurological disorders, OCD. She blamed cancer. She blamed a stroke. It must have been a teeny tiny little mini stroke. Sarah, I had to do that. Yeah, it was the same. That's why I was sitting here crocheting and occasionally stopping to get a drink and read a chapter of a book because it was just too much to handle. You can block a mod, however, when you're on the channel they mod for and they will be able to see you. Amber, that's why I didn't really buy her excuse that she was told if she blocked a mod that she would be booted. I just don't see it. It's a whole alphabet. You are right, it's an alphabet there. And yet again, we have somebody behaving badly who's blaming everybody else in the world and everything else in the world and taking zero responsibility. This is something that I see again and again and again, both online and offline with various people. Some people get to where they can't admit they've done things wrong. Heck, which blows my mind. You're ADHD, I'm ADD, which is how I get into all kinds of, well, I've learned how I have to be, how I have to run my house. How, like today, I took an afternoon and I organized the cabinet the television is in because the things beneath it had gotten a little bit in disarray. I have to have containers. Anyway, that's my ADD story. But I'm not going to blame it for anything I'm saying or doing online. That's just chicken, you know what. And you can't make chicken salad out of chicken, you know what. So there is that. We've just had quite the afternoon with that. I'm just still just blown away. Oh well, and it's telling me my connection is, oh yeah, so am I. They make us who are sick look bad. You're right, Julianne. That is one of the things that I absolutely hate and why I go read illness fakers, the subreddit illness fakers at Reddit, because when you have these things that they're claiming, like example, mast cell is huge in the munch community, the people who have munch houses. They all claim to have it. That and POTS are two of the most common things claimed. Well, I have it because they did a test on me. They removed a tumor and they looked at it and were able to determine, and plus my IgE levels, I had legitimate testing done before they came up with the diagnosis. So you have all these people in illness fakers who are doing just like her. They're throwing out every illness under the sun, babbling on about this stuff without taking real steps. They fake a lot of stuff. You'll see them fake. You'll see them trying to get emotional support dogs and then claiming there's something else. It's just pretty crazy. Todd, come get your side chick. Yes. Todd, come get your internet romance. Come get her. They make us all look bad. It makes us hard to get diagnosis. It makes it hard for us to get effective treatment. Beg to go on live and just turned it all up. I think that the reason that she did this was all for attention. When you put her narrative together of all the things she says she's done, all the things she says her children are doing, the things she claims her husband is doing, and then all this internet drama, it's like attention whoring turned up to 100. You're like going, what the heck just happened here? Oh, there's, yep. Come get your side chick, most definitely. So, Todd, come get your side chick. Those are my objections to the girl. This is what I'm thinking about with Julie Gagney. These are just my opinions. They're not 100% fact, but though that's my list of things that I was writing about this afternoon. I was listening to this and I was taking notes and saying, no, why did you say this and you did that? I've got to say that T. Spiracy did an excellent job interviewing her. She didn't let her ramble and she asked the questions that we all wanted to know the answers to. She just could not get the answers out of this woman. Now, maybe if she'd have been there with like a twitch, like you use on an animal and you turn it to tell them you mean business, that would be the only way I'm thinking, or maybe shock therapy or something. But short of physical violence, I don't think it's possible. Todd, get your other woman before she embarrasses herself on the internet. She sure has the best last name. I know. I know, Lisa. I've been laughing over that too. I didn't say it, but I've been laughing over that. And all I can say is I would like to be a fly on the household on the wall in the Paulson household right now, having to talk about this because apparently this was some sort of problem because Katie herself came out and told Julie Gagney not to contact her husband. That's pretty clear that something happened. I wonder if Todd feels catfished. I don't know. I don't know. I'm guessing that maybe he does. And I bet he feels embarrassed. I feel kind of bad for him in this regards because of the fact that this is really nobody's business. How people conduct their marriages and their infidelities and non-infidelities is really none of our business at all. Um, the only time it becomes our business is, like I said, that time that I had the two friends that were each married to other people that told their spouses that they were with me at a Van Gogh exhibit in DC. And the husband, one of the husband said to me, he said, "Hey, thanks for taking so and so to the Van Gogh exhibit this weekend. I heard she had a great time." And I had to say, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I was home this weekend. I didn't go anywhere. I certainly didn't go to the Smithsonian to any kind of Van Gogh exhibit. And then the wife said, "Hey, thanks for taking so and so. Thanks for meeting him up there and getting him tickets. And I know you two love Van Gogh, so it was so awesome of you to do that." I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It turned out, I found out later, they had each told their spouse they were with me at the Smithsonian seeing the Van Gogh exhibit that weekend when they were really holed up in a hotel room in Washington, D.C., having what does Lori Alexander call it? Fornication with each other. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that cupcake video. That cupcake video is gross. I mean, he ruined Pinguinos for me, and for that I can never forgive him. He ruined my favorite cupcakes. Hostess in the States, Pinguinos down here that are put out by Bimbo Bread Company. And it was like porn. It was like food porn, is what he did. I'm sure there's some mukbangers that are self-molesting over that video quite a bit. And my phone just blew up. And I don't really know why. I'm sure it's somebody wanting to know who I'm talking about. She flirted back. Otherwise, we would have seen some screenshots. Lisa, that's exactly what I think happened. I think that she flirted back, and therefore, because she flirted back, she knew there was no way in God's green earth that she could ever show any of the conversations. Because while he was saying the gross stuff to her, she was probably flirting back. I mean, how many of us have had inappropriate messages from guys? You've seen me do my Nigerian videos. You know I get those things, and I mess with those particular guys. I was talking about a friend of my husband who used to do that to me, and I would just block him. I would say, that's not appropriate. Then I would block him. And then he'd come back 6 months later with a new profile and do it all over again. some of these guys are just will do that stuff. There are a lot. I think there are a lot more men that initiate this stuff than women. I could be wrong, but it seems to be a thing. They throw it out there, and I guess that my husband tried to explain to me once why guys do stuff like that. He said, if you throw the hook out, the baited hook out there 50 times, and you only get one nibble, at least you get the nibble. One falls for it. One person falls for it. She didn't even say the messages that weren't bad, yet she described them. Yes, corn dog live. Oh my goodness, eating a corn dog live. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to get a pinguino and show Todd how you eat a cupcake without grossing out everybody. The coverage of Gabby Petito, since we're all having, criticisms over how she was covering Gabby Petito, I think that was the whole thing. She kept reaching out to him for art purchase. Yeah, that is kind of weird. Hey, Jess, stupid ones. I used to have a lot of, I used to get a lot of them back when I was on Yahoo. Yahoo Messenger was the worst for that. So I finally actually, I came up with a way to deal with that. I got a friend of mine who was fluent in Photoshop in those days when very few people were. So he had my head photoshopped on this man's body. And when someone would send me a dick pic, I would take this picture, this Photoshop picture of my head on the 500-pound man and send it on out to Mr. Dick Pic. And it would stop it. The other one that I used to do was I had a pin because if I'm buffering like crazy, that tells me that Cobbletica has messed up my line again. Oh my goodness. I have better internet now, but it's not perfect. Buffering. I'm going to go. Have a great night. And she better hope that one last thing before I go. She better hope that Todd doesn't sue because I think Todd probably has grounds to sue. Oh, Kiki, I may have taken her all I know right now. So, anyway, you all have a good evening. I'm going to go ahead and go. As you heard, my phone is starting to blow up again. I guess I got to go deal with that. I think it's probably